Hey there, and welcome to Successful.
Beautiful.
And
I'm Natalie,
I'm Nikki.
I'm Tanika.
and we are excited that you have joined us today. Thank you for logging in. If you have not liked, shared, or subscribed, be sure to do that now. There's a button right below. Go ahead and press the subscribe button, and be sure to tell your friends and your family about the show. I promise you, they will enjoy it too. All right. Hey, y'all.
Hey.
Y'all are cute.
How do you?
I love it. I love the pink and the brown.
Thank you. Thank
Yes,
you.
and the red. Giving us a
Yes.
little shoulder action.
Shoulder action.
Ooh.
I
All
love
right.
your outfit. You look
Why,
beautiful.
thank you. Thank you. Read all about it.
Read all about it.
What's been going on?
Life.
Life.
Mhm.
Yes. Has it been life in or has it been good?
Both.
Yes. Yeah. I can agree with that.
Mm-hmm.
I can agree with that.
Yeah.
Okay. So y'all, today, we have an amazing guest for you all. Yeah. Tanika, why don't you tell us a little bit about our guest?
Absolutely. She's an amazing woman. Tarshá, we met more than 6 years ago. And we don't talk often, but when we do talk, we catch up with all the things. And so with that said, we stayed connected. And I'm excited to have my sister here.
Yes.
Tarshá, she does so much. And I believe, are we going to read her bio?
Yeah.
Okay, so Natalie will share her bio, but I just say she's an amazing woman,
Mm-hmm.
so talented, and such an amazing voice.
Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
can sing.
Yes.
Yes,
And she's
yes.
gorgeous.
Yes.
Hopefully you guys have seen the clips on our page and you saw the picture of her. Beautiful on there. When I saw it, I was like, man, her skin is flawless. Wow. But to see her in person, she's gorgeous. Absolutely. And I'm not just saying it because she's sitting across from me.
Yeah.
Okay. So Tarshá,
Yeah.
mother, international recording artist, HIV AIDS activist, founder and president of AABA, speaker, beauty consultant. Tarshá is a Cleveland, Ohio native whose music journey began in church at age 5, evolved into a global career as an international recording artist and songwriter. She has performed around the world and earned a career-defining opportunity as a background vocalist for Anthony Hamilton. After releasing her debut album, The Macmillan Story, in 2008, she used her platform to spotlight truth-telling and healing through her impactful song, Silence Kills. Driven by personal loss to AIDS, she founded and now leads Artists Affected by AIDS, while expanding her mission through speaking, beauty entrepreneurship, and new music planned for spring 2026. Please welcome Tarshá. Hey, girl, hey. We are so excited to have you on the show with us today.
I made it.
You made it. Yes. It's been a long time coming, but it's...
I literally was about to say that.
Yes.
But I was like, it's been a long, long
Yes.
time coming.
Mm-hmm.
But I know change gonna come.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Wow.
Y'all told me to insert a little thing.
We
in
did.
there.
Yeah. And do.
Continue.
Yes. Yes.
Throughout the show.
Throughout, for sure. So we really just want to start out with you just telling us about you, who you are. We heard you're from Cleveland, but where you're from, you know, your educational background, kind of how you became who you are today.
Ooh. In a nutshell, yes, I'm born and raised Cleveland, Ohio.
And it don't have to be in a nutshell.
Okay. Born in the church, as we all say, literally born and raised in church. So yeah, I started singing very early on. By singing my whole life. And I was on my classic, my favorite singer definitely is Whitney Houston.
Yes,
always has been,
yes.
always will be.
Mm-hmm.
And listening to Whitney's voice, although I don't sing like her, really was instrumental in my sound and how I sing and how I connect with my music. Because she always embodied her songs.
Yes.
And you believed everything she
Yes.
sang because it came out of her that way. And then I was just blessed to be part of a church in Cleveland, Ohio, where there's this phenomenal powerhouse singer named Lucretia Colston Bolden, and she was one of the pastors, one of the bishop's daughters, and she was like over the youth choir and different things like that. And I just watching her come up and command an audience and seeing her flow and just belt. That was added to my style of singing as well. And then my mother had a beautiful voice, and hers was more like operatic. So I learned how to sing really pretty in my head voice, you know, and I probably could have done opera if I wanted to. So all three, I would say, were very influential in my upbringing with singing. And then I guess we'll say, as I got a little older, I ended up getting into the music industry I was an athlete all through school. Believe it or not, I did not sing in school.
Really?
Like, I sang in church so much. I just was not one that took singing as, I always knew that I would sing, but I didn't go the school route. Like, I'm going to go to Berkeley and I'm going to do this. Like, I never had any interest in studying music.
Okay.
Not to offend any music people who study music. I think it's amazing, but wasn't my thing. But I played sports. I played volleyball and I ran track. And actually I gotten a 4-year scholarship at Shaw University in North Carolina.
Wow.
But I ended up not taking it because my mother was very ill. And so I ended up going to Kent State, which was closer. But during that time when I'm trying to figure things out, I am a college dropout. So I left probably a year into Kent and began doing gigs and stuff here and there. My cousin James Penn put me on to singing background for some local artists there. And then eventually I landed a job with Kanya Doss, singing background for her. And she's a well-known neo-soul artist, what we would call underground. But she has a great following. And she's a school teacher during the day. And then a soul singer. You know, she's one that always told me, you need to have a backup plan outside of music. But she's another one that really influenced my writing style, my singing style. I learned a lot from her. And really started writing, really started penning some things. And then there's a guy by the name of Tony Polizzi, really, really great guitarist, same background for him. He was doing rock.
Oh, that's cool.
And that's when I was introduced to the rock thing. And I was like, oh, I love this.
Yeah.
So believe it or not, like I have a rock album as well as inspirational. I do a little bit of everything. I have a rock duo with my cousin James called J Penelope. We did an album in 2011. I do a little bit of everything. I typically don't like to be confined to one sound, whatever. But journeying through, I know I'm all over the place. That's why I said, I think that's why I've never written a book, because I'm like, where do you start? But you be like, you touch here, you touch there. Yeah, when I was 16, life hit hard again. We growing up, church, whatever. My dad, I know my parents even divorced at one point. When I was 5, they got divorced. They were divorced for a few years and then they got remarried. And when they got remarried, I remember my dad falling ill. I was maybe about 10 years old and I didn't know what that was about. I just knew he was sick. And then he got better. And then after that, my mom got sick. And she talked to us and told us that she had been diagnosed with stage 4 lymphoma cancer. So we went through the cancer journey with my mom. And it was like from that point on, it was just like it seemed like they were always in the hospital off and on. But nobody talked to us about anything outside of, her having cancer. And so fast forward to about high school years. My parents had bought a house and we finally were, settling into, the whole remarriage thing. Things that seemed like they were, evening out. My dad, he was getting better with his temper and stuff. He was a short man. I was just talking to Nick earlier about short men. Lord, they know they be having that Napoleon syndrome, man.
Yeah.
Like they just, and just be so soft on the inside, but they got to bark real loud. And that was my daddy. My mom really was the G, but she was quiet and just real calm. But my daddy is, and but I will say I was his favorite. We all know that, I was his little chocolate
So when your
baby.
siblings watch.
Yeah, because my
No trip.
sister, so my sister is the oldest just by 16 months, but her and my mom were like this, like super close. She looked like my mom. My sister's demeanor is more like my mom. And then here comes this spicy little sister that came, later. And when he saw me, my mom said he was just like, oh, this one's mine. Like, she's going to be mine. Because my sister didn't want to have nothing to do with him. But so I became his little joy. And then my brother later came, and I had a younger brother almost 2 years later. But I was always like the favorite when it came to my dad. And he was always so proud of me, especially with the singing. He literally said I was going to sing all over the world. He literally said that.
Wow.
So he was a strong supporter in that. And he always told me how pretty I was, because I did struggle with the colorism thing, being so chocolate. I did not like being so dark. That's a whole nother segment, honey. If you talk about color and growing up and, the things that Black women go through, the struggle of being lighter skin, brown skin, darker skin, like it's a thing. But and then I was like, it didn't help that my name was Tarshá. Tar is Black, so it was. I was like, oh my gosh, So my dad always made sure that I knew how beautiful I was. I didn't see it. All the adults were like, oh my gosh, she's gorgeous. But when you're going to school in the 80s, it's like you're just dark.
Like light skin was in.
Yes, light skin was very much so in then. And so I didn't get the attention from the boys that, a lighter skinned girl would, but I always had a very strong personality. So somebody always crushed on me at some point. I had this long hair, and we always were well dressed, and, I had manners. I was polite. So my teachers loved me. I had great friends. So that wasn't an issue at all. And in high school, I had my little glow up. I guess chocolate was kind of in, I don't know. But I started noticing they noticed me more, I guess, then as I kind of blossomed and came into myself. But I still had that low self-esteem, though. And to be quite honest, even in adulthood, it's still the first thing you kind of think of before you enter a room sometimes, which is really crazy. But it's crazy what it does to the mind when you've been conditioned to. There was one particular incident, I remember it was Corlett Elementary in Cleveland, Ohio, and I may have been in first grade. And you know how they blend the classes together? There was some type of thing going on. And when I walked in, some little boy was like, dang, she Black? And then the kids laughed. And I never forgot that. Because I'm 44 now and I'm still talking about it. So I think from that point on, it became when I walk into a room, I always feel like the first thing people see is my color. And then like I literally see the change of people's faces. They'll see dark. And then when they come up on me, they're like, you see the whole face change like, oh my goodness, she's beautiful. And then growing up, always hearing, you're so pretty to be Black. I heard that all while growing up. Oh, you a pretty dark girl. You were pretty. I still have grown men tell me I'm a pretty Black, and I know people mean well, but it's like, I'm never just the pretty girl. I'm the pretty dark girl, because I guess it's rare to be this dark and pretty. So that stuff kind of played into a lot with relationships in the future and all of that stuff, what I accepted, and because I didn't think certain things of myself. So you allow and you accept the bare minimum because you're like, well, at least somebody's, interested, that kind of thing. So, but yeah, again, I'm skipping all over the place, but still, yeah, my going back to my dad, he definitely, it was conflict. We were a lot alike, but we bumped heads because I never minded speaking my mind like him. And so the two of us were like that. But also, I love my dad, but he would be in and out at times, and later ended up finding out why. He had his own adult struggles. So probably age 16, not probably, I was 16. My father, he died. Like, he got sick. Next thing we know, and we had a bad argument that week. That Sunday, we were arguing about my hair because I was playing sports. I love to wear ponytails. He fussed about me having ponytails because he said it could break the hair off if you wear ponytails too much. I didn't have time to fool with my hair, and I always had long hair. And so he said, "You probably, when you go to college, you probably gonna cut all your hair off." And in my mind, I'm probably
Am.
yeah, and am. And so we argued about my hair that Sunday after church, and I ended up telling my dad I hated him. I got so angry, but that anger came from just other places of, the in and out, or I didn't like how he spoke, to my mom sometimes. I didn't like how he talked to us. Like, he didn't know how to deal with his anger, his emotions. He didn't know how to properly communicate. And it can be very damaging to kids if that's all you do is yell, And so I got tired of it. And so once you get a certain age, you like, look, no more, And so I literally was like, I told him I hated him. And I'm sure it broke his heart. I didn't mean it, but that's what I said. And I didn't talk to him all week, the whole week. Like, I would see him, but I wouldn't say nothing to him. I was so upset with him. And then that Friday, I remember leaving for school. And when me and my brother got home from school, I was in high school. We both were. So we traveled home from school, and my sister was a freshman at Kent. And we get home, and my mom isn't home, and she tells us that my dad had to go to the hospital because he wasn't feeling well. Something was going on. They had been to the hospital back and forth for so many years. So for us, it's like, okay, somebody's back in the hospital, somebody's sick. But then she called back and said it was looking pretty serious, and that she had called my sister to come in from Kent. So my sister hurried up, drove from Kent home, picked us up, and my mom was like, we needed to hurry to the hospital. So we're hurrying there, and I'm like, oh my God, I haven't talked to Daddy all week. If I don't see Daddy before he dies, like, oh my God, I can't forgive myself. I'm gonna hate myself. And we're rushing to get there. And we finally get there. And then I remember going up into the elevators at University Hospital in Cleveland. And as soon as we get off the floor on the elevator, I see my mom and the doctor is walking out. And I think vaguely all I remember is the doctor like shaking his head. And then my brother had my mom, and she just kind of like slid down the wall. And I remember my mom's twin, she had just met us there at the hospital. She had gotten off the elevator behind me. And I immediately turned around to run. And it just so happened my aunt was right there, my Aunt Sandy. And I just screamed like this loud scream because that's all I could do. And that was devastating. And that probably was the day life as I knew it was no more my reality of what I thought life was.
How old were you?
16.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was November 22nd, 1997. I was 16 years old. And my mom, after a while, at that time I was in a thematic program, a medical program at John Hay High School. I always wanted to be a doctor. It went from wanting to be a surgeon since first grade to then wanting to be an OBGYN. I love babies. I love the whole birthing process, all of that. But then during the time I was doing my stuff at John Hay, we did an internship at the ER, and I couldn't handle somebody throwing up. So I was like, I don't want to deal with nobody's bodily fluids. So let's change this around a little bit. And I also wanted to be a mother. That was my lifelong dream, to be a mom. So I said, I can't be like a mom who's there with the kids all the time if I'm on call because somebody having a baby. So went ahead and did all that. And so I decided not to do that. And, but while I was in a thematic program, I was working in the lab. And I remember asking my mom a ton of questions because I probably would have become some researcher, some type of doctor or whatever then. But she kept shutting me down. I kept figuring out trying to figure out why she was so angry every time I would ask her about what happened with my dad. And then finally, she sat us down. It was right before Christmas. And she explained to me, my sister and my brother, with her sister right there with her twin. And she told us, your dad didn't die just from a heart attack. He had AIDS. And she said, and I'm HIV positive.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
So we just lost dad in November. And now in December, before Christmas, you're telling me my dad died from AIDS and now you're sick? So can you imagine the...
No.
And I was like, Mom, why didn't you tell me? I would have been a better daughter. And she said, no, you wouldn't have. You would have hated him. They knew me
Yeah.
because I'm war when I have to be. And it's only war when I'm protecting. And I probably would have been angry about my mother, like most definitely. But I was so hurt. And now it goes from confusion, hurt. Oh my God, are you next? Like, you gonna die now? Because now you're sick. I lost my mother 2000, April 30th, 2000.
3 years after your dad.
Not even a full 3 years because he died in November. So it was 2 years and some change.
Wow.
I had just turned 19 that March. She just turned 40, March 27th. And so yeah, it's coming up on her anniversary. Yeah. So yeah, she passed away a month after her 40th birthday. So I've outlived both my parents. My dad was only 42 years old when he died in 97. And it was this unspoken thing for me and my sibling. I say sibling because I did lose my brother later. We ended up finding out he was HIV positive.
Wow.
When was that? He was 17 probably when he contracted it. He said he believes his first partner gave it to him. And my brother lived an alternative lifestyle. So it's probably 17. And he was going through with the death of my parents and all of that. I mean, me and my sister are away at school for college and he's the one left there. He's considered an orphan. My mom's twin had to take custody of him.
Wow.
So,
because he was a minor. Well, as were you. When
yeah, like my sister had both parents at her high school graduation. I had one parent, my mom, and she was very sick. Because, you know, I graduated in 99 and then my brother graduated in 2000 and he had no parents.
Wow.
Because she died before he walked the stage.
Yeah.
So yeah, he contracted it at like 17. He graduated at 17. We found out he had full-blown AIDS by 18 because he had a cut that wouldn't heal. And so he started taking medication. He got his numbers down to a point where it was undetected. He had a strong system. Thing is, when you're grieving, this is why I'm big on mental health and stuff now, because we were, out of all this, y'all, we were never put in therapy sessions.
Jesus.
We should have been in therapy, like from the point of when my parents knew they were sick. But back then, they know we would have got excommunicated. Nobody would have wanted to touch us. Nobody would have wanted, you know, we're in church every week. So literally we were told, oh, and that's when the mask came. I learned how to wear the mask when my mom told us, tell people your dad died from a heart attack. And we just always said that my mom died from cancer because she actually did have cancer, but she actually went into remission. She beat cancer with HIV.
With HIV.
Wow.
Wow.
She beat it. She was determined to see her kids at least to 18. She tried. She almost made it with my brother, but she couldn't. And so I pretty much had to find my way through life.
Yeah.
You know, because my mother was a mother. I didn't have a surrogate mother to come in and swoop us up. My parents were our parents. I didn't have a surrogate father to say, come here, daughter. So you're immediately on your own. And I felt covered long as I had my brother. And then my brother died in 2009 on June 1st at the age of 26.
Wow.
From AIDS because he wouldn't take the medicine anymore. He was too embarrassed. to show up for doctor's appointments because there's an infectious disease floor. So if you're getting off on that floor, then people are going to know clearly you got some issues. It was the embarrassment. And for him, he was like, if God doesn't heal me holistically, I'd rather just not be here. And so he chose not to take his medicine. Do I have issues with that at times? And I find myself sometimes angry with him? Yes, I do. That's because fair. He could still be here with me. Yeah. But then I try not to be so selfish and say, I don't know what it feels like to look in the mirror and feel like you're damaged goods is what he would say all the time. He felt damaged. And he was like, who would love me? You know, I just wish he knew so much more now, like where we are as a society now. My daddy would have been accepted as being, my father was a gay male. So this is my first time saying that like on camera, like, but he lived an alternative life. He struggled with his sexuality, but because the way church is set up, people can't live in their truth and you're damned to hell. And what do? You mess up women's lives. So we got gay men in a church marrying their best friends. Because y'all have fun together, y'all shop together, y'all laugh and have fun. And then the woman is so desperate to get married, she overlooks the fact that he has these ways. But because she wants to be married and y'all want to uphold an image, y'all get married.
Do you think that was true for your mom?
That wasn't true for my mom. My mom, during that time, they were doing arranged marriages.
Oh, my God.
Wow.
Apostolic church. So they would hook up young people from other churches they fellowship with. And my mother just so happened to be one that got hooked up with my father.
Wow.
So they knew that your father had an
My dad was very feminine.
Okay.
But you know, we come from a culture where you think you can pray the gay away. Wow. And it pretty much, y'all killed my mama. So there could be a lot of deep-seated things I could have with the ignorance of church. My issue is not with God, it's with man. You know?
Ooh, can we stick there just for a moment? Oh my gosh. I believe, so you know us, we're all former pastors' wives, have gone through the things that that we've gone through with church people, if you will. Something that I was intentional about sharing with my daughters was, no matter what somebody in the church had done and their father had done and all of those things, God is not the one that you're angry with. It's these folks. These folks being folks, people being people, you know, because God is the same yesterday, today, and forevermore. He never, ever changes. He remains faithful and just and righteous and loving and chastising because he's our father and all of those things. But these folks, you know, will be like the chameleons and change up depending on who's in the room, or kind one moment and mean the other, and all of those things, and speak in tongues. And we can go to scripture, you know, we can, what does it say? You can speak in tongues and do all of these things, you know,
it means nothing.
It means nothing. It's like clanging cymbals, you know? So yeah, that was good.
It took me years to get to that point though. I had my anger with God because my parents died. And my brother died. And I felt like he didn't have a fair shot. It's not like he had a strong representation of how a man as a man. My dad was always a provider. He was great about that. He was a hard worker. He protected his family to a degree, to his understanding, because he didn't have his father. He was the oldest male of 11 children.
Oh, wow.
And he and his sister were only like a year apart. Their birthdays are like days apart. And the two of them pretty much raised their younger siblings. So my dad was like the favorite child of my grandmothers. And he was everything to them. So when he died, that put a big gaping hole in the family on that side. It broke my grandmother's heart. And then for my mom, she was the rock to me of her siblings. She wasn't the oldest, but she always had this presence with her. I always say, like, I never understood the whys. I think my parents have been gone so long now, sometimes, you know, it almost feel like they never existed. And I know that that's not reality, but when you lose people and they've been gone that long, you do have to check yourself and be like, yeah, they were here, because you forget smells and what they sound like. And it was before social media age. So sometimes I find myself a little envious of people who get to repost a lot of videos and memories when they lose their parents and stuff like that, because I don't get to share. Like, I don't have anything in my phone, in the Rolodex of my phone, of my parents moving and in action, because it was before that time.
Oh, yeah.
So I don't get to do that. And I feel like I'm always left with the sad story, but people are so disconnected from it because they didn't know my parents. My children they don't know their grandparents, and they call them your mom and dad. They're not grandma and grandpa or whatever they would have called them. There's grief that comes even after the fact, you know, that they didn't get to share in this. They never knew my brother. Yeah, so HIV like destroyed my family. Yeah.
When your parents divorced, because you said they divorced and then they remarried.
That's when my mom got sick. It was like that was her out. So what's crazy is she only got back with my dad because she said she couldn't imagine another man raising her children, because she grew up with her dad in the house. And also my brother had an incident where he was having some mental health issues. She knew something was off with her baby and ended up finding out that he had been molested. And so it was this whole thing. It was this whole drama and all that stuff. Like, of course, things I speak on and they're like can be very taboo, but where's the freedom in hiding and not telling the truth? True. And so it is what it is. And that happened. And so he had to stay in a hospital for a while. They had like a little mental health thing at Cleveland Clinic. And so he stayed there and he was receiving therapy. So we would go for family therapy sessions. And I remember this particular therapy session. It was both parents, me and my sister and my brother. And so I remember the therapist asking, if you could wish for anything in the world, what would it be? Is what they asked my brother. And he said for our family to be back together. My mother literally gave her life to give my brother what he asked. And he carried that guilt with him to his grave. He felt responsible for my mother's death. Didn't even know he carried all of that grief with him. And I think that's a huge part of why he didn't want to be here too. He felt responsible.
Yeah.
But it wasn't his fault. He didn't know, you know, this is why we should have been in therapy.
Yeah.
Because he would have known that it wasn't his fault. My hope, my sister, actually, she's about to have her PhD. She does mental health. She does very well. She's in Maryland. And she's a boss. Yes. I'm very proud of her with where she is in life, but mental health was her journey she took. And she would tell me for the longest, Sissy, you need to go to therapy. You need to go to therapy. You need to go to therapy. And I didn't listen. I kept touring. I was, you know, on the road because, I ended up in music very early on. That ended up being my escape. But it was like music and sex, you know. It's a high
mechanism. Yeah,
it is what it is.
Music can be a healthy one, but was it?
To an extent, because music, especially when you're touring, it allows you to not be in touch with reality. We don't live reality when you're on the road.
Yeah.
It's almost like being I've never been a soldier, but when I listen to people who are in military or have been off the war or whatever, you feel so disconnected from regular civilians. We feel the same. Everybody starts to look like fans to you. You're like, you're a fan, you just look like someone who's a consumer if you're not a musician. So you tend to find yourself you all have this same common space of being. So I feel very connected with musicians and singers because we really do live a different life. Same as it is with being a pastor's wife. Y'all would understand what I'm saying. It's a whole nother world.
It absolutely
it's
is.
Not the reality everybody else lives.
True.
It really is true because I found that to be true when I became that, so that's why I said it's so much. I don't even know how to get there, but all the things, but it gives you a little bit backstory behind why I made decisions that I made that were not so smart. And I didn't have my parents to consider because they weren't here. So, I didn't learn until later in life that honoring your father and mother, you have to honor them the Bible doesn't say if they're here, but now I try to live my life to honor them, period. You know, even though they're not here, it says honor thy father and thy mother that your days will be long.
Mm-hmm.
And so honoring them means even in death. I honor my parents. I want people to speak well of me because they speak well of me. Those that knew my parents speak well of them because I'm a product of what they raised, you know?
And can I just add here, you are a product of your parents. So even though your children never met their grandparents, you are a product. So I think not even in small ways, in very large ways, they get to experience them because they experience you.
Yeah. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Good.
Thank you.
To cry. You just made me think about my mama.
Yeah.
My mom passed in September
I'm sorry.
of last year. And just you saying that the scripture doesn't say, you know, honor your father and your mother, you know, when they're living.
Right.
You know, it just says,
To honor
period.
them.
And it's so interesting because when I'm in sessions lately, I've talked a lot about my mom with my clients. Just some of her hard-headed way, not doing the things that I felt like she should have been doing. You know, it's certain in that last season of her life that I felt like would have extended her life or anything of that nature. But sharing with them that the realization that I had gotten was it wasn't for me. You know, it was the decision that she got to make pertaining to her life. But just being able to share that a lot lately.
Yeah.
And as you said that it was ringing in my ear. You're honoring your mom by sharing that story with somebody else to encourage them.
Absolutely.
That's good.
Yes.
Thank you
Even
for that.
providing a platform for someone like me to come and share is honoring.
Yeah.
You know, it gives people that space to, because again, I told Nick earlier, I was like, I don't do these type of interviews and interviews I've had in the past where I've done them with my ex-husband or with my artistry. They've never interviewed because interview means to look into.
Yeah.
So you just get the basics of what are you doing now? What's the music? What's your favorite this? But to actually sit and talk like you guys really are getting like an exclusive, because I've never sat down and just talked about, you know, any of that. Like I married Anthony Hamilton, you know, after, you know, being on the road with him, and we got married after 2 years. I ended up getting a gig singing background for him through a young lady in Cleveland that knew him and was singing with him, but she also was singing with Gerald Levert, and Levert, of course, was senior. So she left with him and was like, I have the perfect girl for her. You're gonna love her. And I auditioned over the phone.
Wow.
He liked my voice.
Wow.
He liked my voice. Didn't know what I looked like, because again, this is before all the social media stuff, so it's not like you can pull up my Facebook or anything and say, hey, you know, let me see what she looks like. No, he hired me. He just felt like I was the one, because somebody else auditioned that was already in LA. That one of the other singers was trying to get her friend on, and he chose me.
Wow.
And he told me to buy his album. It was $12. I'll never forget. It was the Coming From Where I'm From album. He told me to buy the album, and if I didn't like it, he would give me a refund. And he told me which songs I needed to learn from the album that he would be performing for the gig I was flying out for. Didn't have any rehearsals, only had sound check. I came prepared. I showed up. And when he saw me, you know, for the first time, you know, I guess maybe he liked what he saw. I didn't get anything like he was trying to flirt or anything initially when he first saw me, but he saw me, you know, the band saw me. And my understanding is he knew then that, nope, they're not going to get her. That's what he said. He said he marked his early on.
Wow.
So he literally started flirting probably the first show. We had Jimmy Kimmel Live. Jimmy Kimmel had just got out and started popping. And so I think we performed Coming From Where I'm From on there. And later that night we had LA Live in LA, and Stevie Wonder was there. So that's my first time meeting Stevie Wonder. Like,
nice.
ooh, you know. So we did that. So I was nervous as all get out.
Mhm.
Oh yeah, it was Philip Lawrence. He was out on the road, I think, during that time. Yep, that was my first time meeting Philip. And Philip now making crazy money with Bruno Mars and stuff. He's writing and touring with him. So really proud of him. A lot of people have branched off and done, other things. But so the thing that I told her, I said, a lot of people don't understand. So when I did go out on the road, I guess you could say it's confessions. It's whatever. It was so many years ago. I don't care.
This is
I've always been one to tell my truth, because I don't ever want somebody to hold something over my head and be like, yeah, but you don't know. Such as because I stay out the way. I stay out the light, because the minute you step out there, people start digging, and they're like, oh, she can't be that good of a person. She can't. So they want to start tearing you down. And I've just always been one. I tell them myself.
Yeah.
I told my parents when I started having sex. I did. I sat my parents down, my pastors.
You set them down.
I did. I called a meeting.
Yeah.
I'm good for calling a meeting. We're going to talk about this thing, because I never wanted people to think that I was something that I wasn't.
Uh-huh.
I was just always that way. I was 15.
Wow.
That was young. Don't do that if you're young. Like, wait.
Yeah.
But I was 15. But there was a lot of things going on, as you guys know, during that time in my life. It's not an excuse, but it is what it is. But I actually had gotten married after 3 months of knowing this guy when I was 21.
Anthony or someone else? Okay, then.
Okay.
So this was before Anthony.
Yeah.
Okay.
And most people don't know that. Like, if you're not from Cleveland, you don't know that.
Mm-hmm. Whoa. Okay.
So that was my first marriage. And I was married for a year. And I auditioned for Anthony on the phone on our 1 year anniversary.
And you left the next day.
I flew out. Yeah.
Did you get flued out?
Sorry. It wasn't one of those situations where it was like, it was somebody I dated for a while and I was just in love. It actually was desperation. My mom had just died when I was 19. So we talking, a couple years after, and it was survival for me.
Yeah.
It was like, I needed somebody to love me. I needed to feel safe. And he's this big guy, like 6 feet tall. I guess you would say tall, dark, and handsome. But it wasn't and I got him into the church and all of that. That probably was the best gift I gave him, though, was,
Christ.
was Christ, because he actually ended up connecting with a friend that I consider to be a close brother, and they've remained very close to this day.
Oh.
So he's done well, and he does well for himself. I'm sure it was heartbreaking then. I did call him after I divorced Anthony, and we had a long talk, and he said that there needs to be a support group for my exes. But I think more so, not because I run amok, but I think because they feel it when I leave.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm great.
You're that
Interesting.
chick.
I love
Yeah.
that.
You're
Yeah.
that chick.
I'm that girl. I'm cool with all my exes.
Yeah.
Almost.
Like, let me make this.
The recent one. But for the most part, there probably is no ex I couldn't call if I needed, help or anything. Like, they wouldn't have anything bad to say about me, except for one. But that could be bitterness and delusion.
Yeah.
But, that's where I am with that. So, yeah, I was married then, and then we ended up divorcing. He did it because I was always on the road by then. So he was able to dissolve the marriage while I was away, because, I was always gone. We didn't have any children. We had no assets together. It was over really fast. So I apologized to him, later, after probably 10 years later, when I was done with, the marriage with Anthony. And, So yeah.
From the time so you married the one gentleman at 21, you were divorced by 22-ish. And then how long
I
after
started
that did you-
started dating Anthony when I was 22, 23. So I guess there was an overlap, because if I married at 21, that means I had turned 22. I met Anthony later on that year when I was 22. And my wedding anniversary was in October. So yeah, I met Anthony around October-ish, November. And then it was there from, he gonna kick my butt. He gonna be like, you telling folk I stole somebody? Why? Nobody knows this, guys. So y'all getting the juice. he just be like, whatever. He knows I'm special. So, but yeah, that's what happened. But that marriage was love. It was. I don't know no other way to put it. It was an experience. It was, Anthony raised me. Like after my parents raised me, he taught me everything from travel to how to order off expensive menus. He took me all over the world. I've been hitting red carpets with him since we were dating. Like he wanted me everywhere with him.
Wow.
He saw the pureness in me. Like he'll tell people, I married her not because she can sing and because she's beautiful. I married her because she was the first woman I met that I knew had God.
Wow.
It was the spirituality. So he came to know God in a different way through me. He spoke in tongues for the first time. We were in my little small apartment in Kent. He was like, I want that. Like, I want what you have.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I guess you could say interaction with me means ministry. I be saving people.
Come on, Charlene.
The ones who want to be saved.
The ones who want to
Some of them don't want to be saved.
be. Don't want it.
They don't want
Even
it.
if they already in the church.
They think they got it already.
Yeah.
I would say the most genuine people I've met have been people who were not in church.
Oh.
Yeah.
It just is what it is.
Yes.
They're not programmed. It's just real for them. So that's one thing I can testify to with Anthony. Like, it's real. Like, God is real for him. Salvation is real for him. He has a pure heart for God and for people.
Yeah.
I can say that. And I'm glad that God blessed my womb to be able to carry our children, our sons. And
Wow.
I struggled a while with infertility. I have a whole infertility story. We don't have to share that today. But I probably
How many
should
children
write a
do you
book.
all have?
Three. I have twin boys.
Oh.
And then I have another boy. So the twins are 15.
Okay.
And then my baby boy is 13. I still call him baby boy. But he's the tallest out of all of them. But I have 3 boys. God gave me 3 sons. So I always tell the boys how special they are. And I said, I lost 3 and God gave me 3.
Wow.
So my dad, my mom, and my brother.
Wow.
So when I say they are me and my sister's world,
Yes.
they are our world. So the hardest thing has been for me lately is mom guilt because I'm pursuing music and stuff again. And I know I'm jumping ahead, but yeah, all the things y'all, it's so much.
Yeah.
But yeah, I married Anthony. Then,
How long were you
Anthony,
guys
like,
married?
we got married. We were married legally for 10 years. I left after year 8 because, it's entertainment. He liked the ladies. That's what it is. Great provider. He took care of me. Can I say that? He still takes care of me.
I love the way you talk about him.
Me too. I was
Me
just
too.
thinking that, T.
Yeah.
That's a blessing that
Yeah.
you can,
Right.
you know,
Yes.
and it's truth.
Yes.
It's
You know?
true.
It's not that you
I don't
are,
have to spare
like,
anybody's
conjuring up
feelings
something so
anymore,
his
so.
fans will like him still.
Yeah.
But it's the truth about him.
It's the truth.
I can appreciate that.
It's the truth. He and it's more than just him feeling responsible because he's
baby
the boys
mama.
that it's him being as connected to my story and my life as possible, him seeing the pain because he still met me very early on. I was 22.
Yeah.
Mom died at 19, dad at 16. I'm this lost girl.
Yeah.
I was so green. He still talks about when he first met me, I had on Skechers, a baby tee and some jeans and an afro.
But you were
Very-
still cute.
He was cute.
Yes, I was cute. So he just saw something different. He saw God, and when I talked, and so we would have Bible studies on tour and all of that, like in the room. Like I've just always taken God with me.
Yeah.
That's when I knew I was saved for real. Was when I went on tour and I could pray in my room. I could experience God in a room, because when you're raised in church, you think I have to go to church
Right.
to experience God.
Right.
Feel it.
But my relationship grew on the road.
Wow.
It grew on the road. And then that's when people started hearing Anthony's music change. I know you notice you go from coming from where I'm from or earlier works. And then when we got married, the albums just,
Because he who finds a wife finds a good thing.
it was
And he
favor.
obtains favor.
I
from
was
the
a
Lord.
great muse, and I still brag about that to this day. I said, we're still eating off of what you were inspired by through our relationship, whether good or bad. Now, I don't know what has happened in the past recent years. It's been a struggle.
Yeah.
But
Okay, so the looming question that I know that people are asking in their minds right now: are you Charlene?
I'm not.
You're not Charlene.
He had already written Charlene before I met him.
Okay.
But I wish I had a dollar for every time somebody asked
Yes,
me.
I'm sure.
I'm like, I wish I was, so I can say. But it was funny because I was there for the Charlene video shoot. We were dating. And so I was there. And so he chose a girl that looked very similar to me. And I liked that. He chose this pretty chocolate girl. And he ended up bringing her back for another video when it was the whole thing like Charlene came back or something. They brought back the actual girl. And they like, wait, is that Charlene?
Yeah.
But that's an ongoing question people will ask. And it's really fun. It's so hard for me not to respond in comments a lot of times. Like, oh my gosh, is that, But it tickles me. But yeah, he has a whole situation with the Charlene thing. Everybody always asks if I'm Charlene, and he said that Charlene actually was a person that was made up from different scenarios and relationships and stories, and he put it all together into one. But it's crazy that it ended up being a lot of what we ended up going through, in our marriage and stuff. But one thing I can say, we never had a nasty divorce. We did not spit on each other. We didn't. He's never talked bad about me in an interview to this day. And so I dare not, sit on this platform and talk bad about him.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like, it's, none of us are perfect. Clearly I didn't divorce him just because I wanted to, so clearly it was bad enough for me to have to leave.
Yeah.
But I will say this man has never not taken care of me or those children because he felt a way about me.
Yeah.
He don't cut me off just because I'm not doing what you want me to do type stuff.
There's a lot about his character.
Yes, it
That's a
does.
real gentleman and a real
Are we
Very
going
honorable.
to see him tonight?
Yes, I did. I texted him. I said, "Did you remember? He was like, "What city?" What you mean, what city? Because I always tell people. She asked me a while back, and I said, no, because I've learned over time, I can't tell him until like the day before, and then I have to remind him again the day of, because if you tell him too soon, he's going to forget. He's just not going to remember. And so I have to be telling people like, it's okay. It's okay. I catch him early enough in the day before all the tickets, get given away. And I was like, hey, can my people get in? That kind of thing. So y'all good for tonight.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So,
Thank you so much.
Thank you,
Can't
Anthony.
wait. We appreciate you, Anthony. Because we
Yeah,
believe that
absolutely.
you will be watching this show.
mhm.
Because Tarshá told him about it.
Yeah.
The show tonight?
You told him about that.
I did. I sure did.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's great.
That's cool. Thank you for that.
I did.
Yeah.
So y'all should be able to do the pictures and stuff with him, because I usually they put like the guest passes and the tickets and stuff for him, because I told him I was like, I need y'all to I need you to meet them, and yeah, so that'd be
Awesome.
good.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So we have some questions.
Yeah.
Before we segue to questions, I need to do the journal prompt.
Yes.
Yes.
We have a journal prompt
have a
for you
journal.
guys.
Yes. And in what ways have you noticed your childhood trauma resurfacing or influencing your behavior, relationships, or decisions in adulthood?
Ooh, Nikki.
That's what I'm
Dang.
about now, child.
Dang.
Do I need to repeat it?
Yeah. Wow.
In what ways have you noticed your childhood trauma resurfacing or influencing your behavior, relationships, or decisions in adulthood? That's a good one.
That's a really good one, Nikki.
Mhm.
So we have our new segment for you today, Mic Check Mail, where we ask you guys to send in your comments or questions, and we would address them on the show. This is now. So Mic Check Mail is the name of this segment. All right. So we have our question from Claudette Ojo. I do believe it's how it's pronounced. Please pardon me if that is wrong. Let me read that to you real quick. And it says, "Hi, ladies. Thank you so much for this channel. It has been a blessing to me watching you all share your trials, truths, and triumphs as beautiful women of God. I especially love that you are all tastefully transparent and do not position yourselves as all-knowing, but rather as women who are committed to learning, growing, and have not given up on seeking abundant lives. As a woman in her 30s who has never been married but desires marriage, your stories have helped me to step out of desperation for a relationship and even idolization of marriage. If possible, could you please answer these questions on one of your shows? Number one, what advice would you have for us single women in the church who desire to be married, especially those of us who feel like we have been waiting very long, who have been given potentially false, distorted promises and hopes from mostly well-meaning people? What do you think we can focus on to grow as women with full lives? Number two, what advice would you give your younger selves that you know now? Number three, how has the time that we are currently living in influenced the women that you are becoming? What things do you realize that we as a society have now that you are using to be a better you? Thank you. And Claudette, thank you so much for submitting your questions. So we're going to answer those for you. Okay, ladies. Y'all ready?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, number one again, what advice would you have for us single women in the church who desire to be married, especially those of us who feel like we have been waiting very long, who have been given potentially false or distorted promises and hopes from mostly well-meaning people? What do you think we can focus on to grow as women with full lives? Who wants to take that?
I'll take that one.
Mm-hmm.
I say focus on you. Learn what you like, learn what you don't like, enjoy space just with you, and not having to consider anyone else. The decisions that you get to make, enjoy that space to say, oh, I don't have to ask anybody. I don't have to consult. I like blue, so I want blue. Or I like green, so let's do green. So that's what I say. Enjoy that space. Enjoy that time. Because there's nothing worse than rushing it and being in a relationship that you're miserable at.
Yeah.
So I say enjoy your time. Enjoy you. Getting to know you is important.
Absolutely. Go ahead.
I just wanted to add to the first part of the question. When she says waiting, something about waiting for.
You feel like we have been waiting very long and who have been given potentially false, distorted promises and hope from mostly well-meaning people.
I would say don't, in waiting, just remember that God's timing is perfect.
Yes.
And sometimes in the waiting season, I find in my waiting season, and God is the same. So I would say in waiting seasons, sometimes he's perfecting something in you.
Yes.
Or perfecting something in the other person that he has for you. So don't, don't be bummed out by the waiting season. Just wait well and go back and look at that.
Yes. It's intentional. God is intentional.
Absolutely.
With the timing. Yes. Yeah, that's all I'll say there. Tarshá, did you want to add something there?
I agree with what you all said. Also, I think that's what I was thinking about too, the waiting part, because when she said she's never been married before, and she's 30.
Yes, in her 30s.
Now I'm like, gosh, I wish I could go back.
Man, oh my gosh,
I wish I could, because I would do so many things different. What you think is taking too long really is what you say perfect timing, because once you're married, it's not about you anymore.
Yes.
And then when you throw children in there, it's a whole nother thing. So I know it's easier said than done, like wait. It was the same thing when I was waiting to have children and not waiting on purpose. It just wasn't happening. And then people tell you it's going to happen. And when it happens, I'm telling you, enjoy your time now. And honey, when it came, they were there.
Yeah. Okay, number two, what advice would you give your younger selves that you know now? If I can start with that one. Travel. Girl, go on that trip. If it's you and your girlfriends, if it's you alone, go go and enjoy your life prior to making any permanent decisions or what you believe are permanent decisions for your lives. I intentionally did not travel as a single woman because I wanted to travel with my husband, right?
Yeah.
And missed out on so many things,
Yeah.
or I felt like I missed out on so many things. But then that wasn't really something that was wanted when I got married. So, yeah, didn't get to travel a lot. So that's one thing that I would tell my younger self. Go on the trip.
Yes.
Anybody else want to add to that one?
No.
No? You're good? Okay. And then the third question was, how has the time that we are currently living in influenced the women that you are becoming? What things do you realize that we as a society have now that you are using to be a better you?
I'll go.
Okay.
Technology. What we have now versus what we didn't have in the past. I did, and I still do, virtual counseling, which is amazing. I'm an advocate for just mental health and wellness. So that, of course, and also platforms like this where we get to not only share our stories, but also we get to help other women and other men in dealing with some of the things that we have dealt with ourselves. So this platform is definitely, I think, amazing that we're able to do that here.
For sure. I just think there's a lot more information in the world now.
Yeah.
And of course, you have to decipher through the junk, you know, and those things that are really beneficial for you. But there's a lot more information, so we can be a lot more informed before we make decisions. I love that. I love that. Yeah. Okay. Anything else?
And I would say the self-care piece.
Oh, yes.
That's a huge thing now, mental health, self-care. And so what I probably would tell my younger self is slow down, love you first, and take care of you first. I think if you spend most of your time taking care of you, your hair, your body, and just slow down and really just be present, you find that a lot of your day kind of just goes, because, you know, you're spending all that time on you, but you're loving on you. And then you don't have time to think about who's not there and what you don't have and all those things. I think the self-care piece is huge.
That's
I wish
really
I took
good.
better care of myself when I was younger.
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
Yeah.
I think I took a lot of things for granted. We were talking earlier. I was telling Nikki, my one of my daughters, she's always talking about food. She's this big though,
I love
right? I'm like, girl, I was that big once too. Itty bitty, you know, but just caring for yourselves and just being mindful of you and loving on you, like you said. I love that. Okay. All right. So this has been Mic Check Mail. Thank you again. And Claudette, thank you so much for your questions and your comments. We appreciate you. The content shared on this podcast is intended for informational, educational, and entertainment purposes only. While one of our hosts is a licensed professional counselor, the information provided here does not constitute a therapeutic relationship, nor is it a substitute for individualized mental health treatment or diagnosis. Listening to this podcast does not create a client-therapist relationship between you and our hosts. Any stories, examples, or discussions are either fictional, generalized, or used with permission for illustrative purposes and should not be taken as personalized therapeutic guidance. If you are in need of mental health support, we encourage you to consult with a licensed mental health professional in your area. If you are in crisis or experiencing a mental health emergency, please contact 911, your local crisis line, or 988, the National Suicide Crisis Lifeline. Thank you so much and enjoy the show.